It's Paula G. Akeem Olay here. Listen, I know I have been a little bit MIA, and you're probably like, MIA from what? Nobody even watches your videos yet. You still new to this. You haven't even committed well to the thing that's not successful yet. I got work to do. Oh my gosh. This is 3 things that I learned after my 20s. After my 20s, y'all, because my 20s were fun. My 20s were a good time. My 20s were probably a walking contradiction in a lot of senses, but all of that was necessary to get me to where I am now. And these lessons I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share some of my knowledge with you, some of my wisdom in my mid-30s. These lessons, if I had known them in my teens, man, my 20s might have been easy sailing, but again, those things required me to get to where I am today. Those are lessons that were required to get me to where I am today. So yes, I'm going to share these with you. 3 things that I learned after my 20s that is making all the difference in my life. Number 1, fake it till you make it. That's BS. Listen, in our 20s, we were faking it till we made it. Like on a very literal sense, we would go to work and fake like we weren't hungover from how drunk we were last night. And you can't really do that in your 30s. Your body just doesn't react that way anymore. But in the other sense, we were still figuring things out, whether you were fresh out of college and just getting to your job and you don't really have experience yet, or if you've been on your job for a while and you're wanting to move to the next level, but maybe you don't have the credentials that they wanted you to have. Fake it till you made it was preached to us, and it worked where it needed to work. But in our 30s, there is no more faking it till you make it. You have got to do the work in order to get to where you need to be. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And I mean, to be quite honest, we're past that time frame where you're going to give me something fake and I'm not going to call you out on it. Like maybe I paid you for this and what you gave me was obviously something you threw together the night before, or maybe I require something of you in order to get to where I need to get to, and it's obvious to me that you're doing a halfway job. I no longer fake it till I make it. I am a grown up. I am grown up, and if I want to get to a level of life, my next level of life I need to get to, then it's time I be intentional about the things that I need to get done in order to get there. That doesn't mean that you have to follow the status quo or the way things are lined out. Like if the path to success is supposed to be go to high school, go to college, work a job for 30 to 40 years, 60 years, retire, and then live in Florida, and that measures success. You don't got to do that. We're not saying that you need to fake that in order to get to where you need to be in life. But that means whatever path that you're choosing for yourself, it needs to be authentic and genuine in order to make it to where you want to be in life. Like, I want to be an artist. I want people to recognize that the work that Paula G. Akeem Olay puts out in the world is changing the world. But I'm going to do that from a genuine, sincere place. I'm not faking my art and craft. I'm not even accepting for myself BS anymore. You know, there used to be a time where someone called me and I did it. This is a true story. T-Soul hit me up and said that he was opening up for Kev on Stage the next day and wanted to know if I had a poem along the theme of Blackness that essentially we could collaborate with at this performance. And I said yes. The performance was the next day, and I was like, yeah, I got you a poem. I got a black ass poem for you. I did not. When I'm telling you, I got off the phone and started writing because one, I really wanted this opportunity. Huge T-Soul fan, good friend of mine now, huge Kev on Stage fan, and was interested in seeing him live. And I didn't want to let it be like, no, give it to the next person. So I faked it until I made it. But today, if they called me today and said, hey, we need you to do this thing, I'm going to be like, yeah, I don't have anything. And I'm going to either be like, Give me some time and I can get you something by tomorrow, and it's going to be last minute, or let me pass this off to somebody else, because I'm not going to put the pressure on myself to give you no crap that's going to essentially possibly be embarrassing to me. It won't be embarrassing to me because I'm good at what I do, to be quite honest. But I also don't accept opportunities just because someone put them in my place. I won't be faking it till I make it. I'm going to make it because I've put in the work and I deserve my spot. You know what I'm saying? I deserve it. Number two, giving up, changing your mind, doing something different is not a failure. I mean, when we were kids, they asked us over and over again, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be? And most of us had answers. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a fire truck. I knew somebody used to say they wanted to be a fire truck because you did say whatever they wanted to be. But nobody ever said, I don't know, I'll figure it out when I get there. Because we didn't want to seem like a failure for not knowing what we wanted to do and being 100% positive that we could get there. So we gave an answer, sort of like fake it till you make it. We gave an answer. But the reality is when we got older and realized that ain't quite what I want, giving up on it, changing our minds, it would seem like a failure. It would seem like a disappointment. Like, why would you put all that work in and then not follow through? Why could you commit 20, 30 years to a job and then decide this isn't for me anymore and give up? Why would you go to college to be a teacher and then your first day of student training be like, oh, I don't want to do this. That was me. I want to do this. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to be in a traditional classroom setting like this. That did not work for me. And so it felt like a failure to the point that I dropped out of college because I could not figure out what I wanted to do next. And I beat myself up for not having a clear understanding of who I was in my 20s and where I wanted to go. And so the idea that giving up on this dream was a failure. But let me tell you, after my 20s, I realized that it is not. In so many aspects, giving up on something is freedom. Giving up on something is powerful. Giving up on something is brave. And I mean, that's everything from a job to a relationship, to a commitment, to religion, all of those things. When they are not serving you, when you start to look at the path and this thing does not line up with everything that you want for yourself, let it go. Give up on that. Give up on that dream you once had and get another one. It is okay. That is fine. People have recently been talking about a celebrity and their marriage fell apart. And this was a celebrity that was considered black gold. So when it was announced that they were separating, people started immediately picking apart their interviews and being like, see, you could see it all along, and saying, he must have done something wrong or she must have done something wrong, all this stuff. And then she released a statement along the lines of, I've grown. I'm a different person. This no longer serves my life. I am thankful for the time that we had and we are moving on. Come on, sis. We have got to learn how to do that. And I did it some years ago without even realizing I had what it was that I was doing. When a relationship with my best friend was falling apart, we sat down and she and I pretty much broke up with each other. Our friendship ended with a conversation at a Waffle House, but not the Waffle House, but a coffee house that also served waffle type place. And we were like, thank you for your time in my life. Thank you for being there during some tough times. Thank you for the assistance you gave. But it feels like the season of us is over. And I wish you the best in your next season. And I'm going to be successful in my next season. And we went our separate ways. And we gave up on that relationship in a way that allowed us to be fruitful. And it's doing it in a positive and non-toxic way that oftentimes makes the difference. Not having something ripped apart, but taking the time to recognize that, thank you for serving my life in the way that you have, but it's time to move on. So it's okay. Giving up is not a failure. Do it in a way that serves you. You know what I'm saying? And the third thing that I learned after my 20s is that your existence needs to be intentional. I actually learned this from my really good friend Nikki, who used to tell me and still tells me about taking off your shoes, putting your feet to the earth, grounding yourself, about putting the camera down and enjoying what's in front of you, like at a concert where everybody's like snapping pictures. I want to show that I was here, like putting it down and enjoying what's in front of you. And I had to be taught that lesson, especially living in this day and age where we are used to picking up our phones or just living so digitally connected that we forget to exist in the space around us. So sometimes when it is just quiet and there's nothing happening, we don't know what to do with just ourselves. And we find ourselves sort of existing without quietness. We exist a little bit messy. We exist all kerfuffled. Is that a word, kerfuffled? Feels like it. And we don't know how to stop and relax and just be here. To feel our bodies, to hear our mind, to exist and really be in the moment. Whether it's something loud and crazy and wild happening and you're really just enjoying the moment and embracing the energy around you, or if it's a peaceful moment, you have to learn to exist intentionally. And I use the word intentional a lot. If you see my videos, it's probably the word intentional is in every video, but that's because so often the movies and the TV shows teach us about coincidences and things happen in these magical, beautiful ways, but everybody don't get that. Sometimes you have to make your magic happen. Sometimes you have to make your joy happen. And you do that by figuring out who you are, what you want, and giving it your all on purpose. So live intentionally, figure out who you are, what you want from life, and then go after those things and exist in that space where my actions, my thoughts, my movements are done on purpose to create the life that I want. If you've been watching the video this far, you get one more tidbit. I know I said 3 things, but here's one more tidbit. I want you to trust your gut. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. Once you know who you are, why you are, whose you are, the purpose of your life and your existence, and that's not an easy thing to figure out, and that's not the same as having all the answers. That is simply a oneness with yourself in order to be able to go by day with your integrity intact, with your intentions clear, with your motives, with your morality aligned. Once you have all of those things and sort of know who you are within your soul and within your heart, then you can begin to trust your gut in the way that if something doesn't feel right to you, you can go with that feeling because you know you're aligned. So you're not all out of whack. Let me tell you a story real quick. One time I was at my favorite spot, Tuesday Versus, and this tarot card reader walked up to me and he's reading his cards, young white kid, and he pulls the cards out and he says to me, I can tell that your instincts are exactly where they need to be. You just need to trust your instincts and go with the flow and do what your instinct says. That's what this tarot card is saying to me. And I said, oh, thank you, sweetheart. And I let him go. And then after he walked away, me and my friends bust out laughing because I was literally having a conversation with my friends where I said, my instincts are off and I cannot trust them. And here comes this person trying to convince me that your instincts are right and you can trust them. And now I have to do one of 2 things. I have to decide, does this person know better or do I know better? And what I knew about myself in that time is that I was aligned. And so even though my instincts were off, I was aligned enough to know that my instinct was off and I needed to do work on that part of myself. I feel like I'm talking about chakras that I don't even quite know. So I probably need to do some work on chakras and to learn them more. So this person trying to tell me that my instinct was off, my gut was telling me that my instincts were off. And so him trying to tell me that my instincts were on was off. And so I couldn't listen to him. And I needed to listen to myself and do the work that I had already told myself that I was going to do, and not listen to this person who was essentially telling me not to do the work because I was fine. I trusted my gut. And I want you to continue to trust your gut. Once you've gotten in alignment, trust yourself so that you can make the best decisions for yourself. And sometimes trusting your gut, the things don't seem to quite line up for the success you may have thought was coming. But when you trust your gut, you are fine with knowing that that wasn't for me anyway. That maybe there are things that I am not seeing that are down the path for that person that would not have worked out for me. And so while that looks good on the surface, and part of me is like, dang, maybe I should have did that thing. The other part of me trusts that, nope, I didn't do it for a reason. My blessings are coming. Let me not be envious. Let me rejoice with those who rejoice and wait for what I got coming for me to come for me. What's for me is for me. Listen, this is the the four things that I learned after my 20s that are now serving my life. Number 1, don't fake it till you make it. Do the work. Number 2, giving up is not a failure. You are okay to change your mind and do something different and what serves you. Number 3, exist with intention. Don't expect coincidences and magic to always lead. You have got to do the work to make your own magic. And number 4, trust your gut. Align your heart and your soul and your spirit so that when you have that guttural reaction that says this is for me or this isn't for me, you can trust that and know you're making the best decisions for yourself. And align yourself with the right people, a good circle, so that no matter what, you have someone that you can lean into when things get a little tough. I'm wishing the absolute best for you. Follow me at www.lackofbetter.com. That's my blog. You can also find me on Facebook, IG. I don't think you can find me on Twitter no more because I think Elon Musk done jacked up Twitter, so that's getting shut down, right? Twitter, don't look for me there, but Instagram, Facebook at PG Artistry. And I'll see you soon. Till the next time. Bye.